10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast, episode 142. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast. My name is Nick Manella. I am the creator and host of this show. We are on episode 142, and just a reminder that if you would like to get the PDFs for all of these episodes, please head over to our website, 10minutejazzlesson.com, and click on one of the Patreon links. That will bring you over to our Patreon page where you can get your hands on all 142 episodes worth of PDFs for only $3 a month. You can show your support for the podcast and get an absolute pile of jazz education materials in return for that. Thank you very much to everyone who is supporting us over there. You are the ones that make this show possible and keep things coming at you week after week. I also wanted to let you know that there are some new and very exciting and very cost-effective jazz improvisation tools in our store this week. We have just come out with our play-along set of blues in all 12 keys. This is a play-along for the blues progression in every single key at 4 different tempos, 90 BPM, 120 BPM, 160, and 200, and it comes with PDF copies of the chords in every key as well. Fantastic practice tool. We've also just come out with a new ebook called Diminished Sounds, and what this is over 75 different pieces of vocabulary that deal with the diminished scale. Most of this stuff is over 2-5-1, but we do have a bunch of diminished scale patterns and a lot of other really, really cool stuff in that book. That is going to make your playing jump to the next level. And that book is only $5.99. So head over to our website, 10minutejazzlesson.com, and click on the store tab, and you can find all of that good stuff, along with several other of our best-selling products to make you better at jazz improvisation today. So today we're starting a brand new thing for 2019, calling it Tune of the Month. So what we're going to do is the third week of every month, we are going to bring you a different jazz standard and talk about a couple of things that I would work on over this, some stuff that I give to my students over these particular tunes, and give you an exercise to work on that's tailored to some of these jazz standards that I think that everybody should know. Now, we're also going to bring back our Lick of the Month series. These are two things that I kind of neglected in 2018 that people are really huge fans of. So the third and the fourth episode of every month are going to be the Tune of the Month and the Lick of the Month, just like we used to do. So let's jump into our first Tune of the Month series. This month is going to be over one of the most classic jazz standards that I can think of, and also one of the most beneficial ones that I can think of, All the Things You Are. So when I think about All the Things You Are, what I think about is the circle of fourths. This tune is like a study in the circle of fourths. But one of the really, really cool things about this tune is that as it moves around the circle of fourths, you get all these different qualities of chords. We have minor 7 chords, we have dominant 7th chords, we have major 7 chords, we have diminished chords, we have augmented dominant chords. We have all of these really cool things. So it would be like when you're in the practice room, and I'm imagining that a lot of you out there do this, and I do it as well. A big thing that I do is I work on vocabulary or exercises by taking those pieces of vocabulary or exercises around the circle of fourths. But typically, I'm only doing it in one quality. So maybe I'm going around the circle of fourths using dominant chords and working on some kind of concept that utilizes dominant chords, but I want to be able to put them in every key, which is really, really important. This tune gives us the opportunity of almost working on it like it's a practice progression, but it's actually a real tune that we can call on a gig or at a jam session and actually play over. So the exercise that I'm going to show you this week on your PDF is actually a pretty simple one, but it's going to be kind of tough to pull off in action just because there's so many different key centers in this tune that you're really going to have to think about this a lot. So like I said, the exercise is actually pretty simple. What we're going to do is we're going to arpeggiate the chord, and we're going to use 2 extensions in every single chord. So we're going to play 1, 3, 5, 7, and then the extensions that we're going to use are some type of 9 and some type of 11. Now let me talk about how this varies with the different quality of chord in this particular tune. So let's talk about minor 7 chords first. So we're going to arpeggiate up 1, 3, 5, 7, and then the extensions we're going to use on this are the natural 9 and the natural 11. That's going to be really important. Those notes sound great over a minor 7 chord. Now, when we get to our dominant 7th chords, we're going to switch things up a little bit. We're still going to arpeggiate up the chord 1, 3, 5, 7. We'll be doing that on every chord. But now the extensions are going to be 9 and sharp 11. So why do we use sharp 11 instead of regular 11? Well, you may recall from some past episodes or other jazz education materials that you've studied that the natural 11 over a major chord is kind of an avoid note, right? We can use it as a passing tone, but we don't really want to use it as a note to hang out on. The sharp 11, however, is a great note to use over a major chord or a dominant chord because it is very dissonant, but it has this really, really nice sound to it, in my opinion. So when we play over a dominant chord, we're going to use 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, sharp 11. We're going to do the same thing over a major 7 chord. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and sharp 11. So that's going to be exactly the same as the dominant chord. All right, let's talk about a couple of other chords that make their presence known in All the Things You Are only once or twice, some of the lesser used chords. So let's talk about the half diminished chord that we see in measure 21 of the progression. And this is a concert F sharp minor 7 flat 5. So what we're going to use on this is, again, 1, 3, 5, 7, but then we're going to use a flat 9, and we're going to use a regular 11 over this one. Now, we flat the 9 because over this chord, we like to use the Locrian mode. So therefore, the second step of the scale is flatted according to that Locrian mode. And then there's 2 more chords that we need to look at. So we need to look at, in measure 24 of the progression, we have a concert C7 sharp 5 chord. So the way that we're going to arpeggiate that is going to be 1, 3, 5, and this is a sharp 5 according to the nomenclature of the chord. So 1, 3, sharp 5, 7, then we're going to use a regular 9, and then again we're going to use that sharp 11 because that's in the whole tone scale that we like to use over this chord. All right, one more. We have a diminished chord in measure 32 of this progression. So on that one, we're going to use 1, 3, 5, and then in a diminished 7th chord, we use that double flat 7. So you're going to see that in there. And then what we're going to use over this is a regular 9 and a regular 11 over this one as well. So I think that covers basically all of the different chord qualities. And we're doing this in an 8th note rhythm with 1 beat of rest in between each measure. Another really beautiful thing about All the Things You Are is that there's basically, in the majority of the tune, except for 1 measure, there's only 1 chord per measure in each one of these bars. So that's really nice because we don't have to really switch up the exercise. We could just keep it the same all the way through and concentrate on really remembering what our arpeggios and our extensions are. That's another really beautiful thing about this tune. So let me play a little bit of the progression for you. I'm not going to go through the entire thing because it would be kind of long, and we spell it out in detail in all keys, concert B flat and E flat, on the PDF for this week. So you can check out what this is all about by simply grabbing the PDF for this episode. Let's check out what the exercise sounds like. So you can hear I'm just going through every chord and really making sure that I know what's going on, both with the regular arpeggio and with those extensions. Now, the sharp 11 might sound really, really funky to you, but that's okay. That's what we're going for here. We're starting to learn some new sounds, get some new things in our ears. And again, that sharp 11 is such an important note that I just highly recommend using it. I guess you could go through and use the regular 11, but I just think that that sharp 11 is going to be much more useful to you. So I think this will be a great exercise. What you should do is you should start with using the PDF. Remember, it's in every key. And then eventually you should just use the regular chord changes without using the PDF and really test yourself to see if you really know these chords. Now, something else that I'm going to do on these Tune of the Month episodes for the Patreon members is I'm writing an etude of one chorus of these tunes, just as a kind of bonus, just as a kind of thank you for supporting the podcast. So you're going to hear that at the end of the episode. You're going to hear me close out the show by playing the etude that I've written. And these don't necessarily have any one concept in mind when I write these etudes. I'm simply just trying to write something that sounds cool, give you one course of material that you can use to get some vocabulary from, or just simply to have fun playing. And these are going to come in every key as well. So when you go on to Patreon to download the PDF, this will be in there as well. Okay? So hopefully this gives you some new ideas. Hopefully this allows you to stretch your abilities over such a great tune like All the Things You Are that we all need to know. And yeah, I'm excited to be bringing you guys these Tune of the Month episodes. If you've got any tunes that you would like me to cover, please email me 10minutejazzlesson@gmail.com. We'll be taking suggestions for those tunes in the upcoming weeks here. All right, I hope you have a great weekend, everybody. Remember to go and check out our new products. We have our Blues in 12 Keys play-along set, and we have our Diminished Sounds ebook. Those are brand new in the store as of this week. All right, have a great weekend and enjoy this etude, and we will see you next week. Bye, everyone. Thank you.